Welcome to Firebase Release Notes for July, where we cover recent big and small updates from Firebase. Now we got 8 releases to cover today, so let's dig in quickly. We just added new security features and functionality to Firebase Authentication, including multi-factor authentication, which you can see here, the ability to run cloud functions before a user is created or signed in, and support for new sign-in providers. These features are all part of an optional upgrade called Firebase Auth with Identity Platform, which you can opt into from the Firebase console. Your existing code will continue to work just as before, so you only need to change your code if you want to use the new features. The features are also present in the UI of the Firebase Emulator suite, meaning that you can test them locally before using a real Firebase project. Check out the link that I shared below for more information on Firebase Auth with Identity Platform. Transactions on Firestore in the client-side SDKs are optimistic compare and set operations. This means that you read the data into your transaction first, then you determine the new value, and then the server only writes the new value if the data was not changed outside of your transaction. This often leads to great throughput as no pessimistic lock is required. But the SDK may have to retry the transaction if somebody else also changed the data. In our latest SDKs for iOS, Android, Web, Unity, C++, and Flutter, you can now specify up to how many times the client retries a transaction before giving up. By specifying a max retries value when you start the transaction, your code has more control over the behavior of your app when there's contention for the resources. The GeoFire libraries for Firebase add the ability to perform queries around geographic ranges to our databases by storing location information in special strings known as geohashes that you can see over here. A few months ago, we released version 3.2 of GeoFire for Android to work with Android X, allowing you to finally get rid of the GeoFire dependency. Thanks to Stefan Werting for contributing this PR. And we also just released version 6.0 of GeoFire for JavaScript, which now uses the modular v9 SDK for its Realtime Database access. And this means that you can now build smaller apps even when you use geoqueries. The Firebase console now automatically creates shortcuts at the top of the sidebar on the left to help you quickly find the products that you used most within each project. And if you're like me, you've probably already noticed how many clicks this saves you every day. You can access a walkthrough of these dynamic features by clicking the Learn More at the bottom of the console sidebar. Firebase Performance Monitoring now measures the rendering performance of the fragments in your Android app without you having to write any code for it, just as it already did for activities. This means that you can now quickly find out which of your sub-canvases that are on the user's display are causing slow or frozen frames, by giving you precise feedback about which elements render slowly in your app. Cloud Functions deployments now store container images on Google Cloud Artifact Registry instead of the container registry. This may result in small differences in billing, so see the Cloud Functions pricing FAQ that I'll link below for more information on this change. We launched a public preview of Cloud Functions for Firebase v2 at Google I/O, and this v2 has more configurable scaling behavior, leading to speed and pricing benefits for many developers. But in the initial preview, we didn't have any database triggers ready yet. Now, we just launched triggers for events in the Realtime Database, so you can now also get these benefits when you have cloud functions that respond to changes in your JSON data. For more information, see the documentation that I linked below. Removing outdated or stale data is such a common task that Firestore now has a feature built in for it. I haven't used it myself yet, but you can now set a time to live or TTL policy. In this policy, you configure one of your fields as the TTL field, and the document will then be deleted at some point after the time has passed. The exact moment of deletion is not under your control though, so you still want to filter on the same field in your queries too, to ensure that your app doesn't show any stale data. Okay, those were all the updates we have time for today. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel below. Now, my name is Puff and I'll see you on a future episode of Firebase Release Notes.